Who's what's it? Hey everyone, Templar74 here with another episode of Poke Talk, and today's episode of Poke Talk is going to be my review of the latest episode of Pokemon Horizons, episode 16. And I gotta be honest with you guys, last week's episode, I wasn't too impressed with it, but upon further reflection, I do want to clarify this before I talk about this week's episode. When I'm doing these reviews, I'm flying a little bit blind because I'm doing the reviews without the subtitles, mostly because it takes quite a few days for the episode with the subtitles to be released where I live. I can never seem to find them with the subtitles in a timely manner, so most of the time I'm flying blind. And I did take some Japanese courses as foreign language in school, but by no means am I an expert in Japanese. So I try to do my best here. The episode, when I watched it last week, I still stand by what I said that I wasn't invested at the time, but there was a couple of major things that once actually having the subtitles was like, oh, maybe I was a little bit wrong. Does it change my overall thoughts about last week's episode that I stated? Not really. I really didn't think it was worth much of a watch, but this episode is a good builder. This week's episode is a good builder on last week's, and again, another reason why I wanted to throw that out there. So, even though my thoughts about last week's episode didn't change, this week's episode, I guess I should say, did change my perspective a little bit and maybe ups my thoughts about last week's episode just a little bit, but I'm rambling and we'll talk about that soon enough. So, the episode premise is that Liko has gone missing. She's gotten separated from her friends. Her memory is still kind of dotty. She's got a little bit of amnesia going on from the events of last week. And she, of course, lost her pendant to boot. Ultimately, by the end of the episode, though, she's rejoined her friends, and Liko and Roy meet Lano for the first time. And that's pretty much the major events of the episode. Yeah, like I said, this episode was okay by itself. Overall, I give this week's episode a 5 out of 10. But when you add it with last week's episode, I think it does raise last week's episode maybe just a point or two higher, in my opinion. But yeah, overall, this episode was still kind of an episode, but it does prop up last week's episode a little bit, so I guess there is that. But yeah, that's just my thoughts overall, and as always, I want to hear your thoughts. So in the comments section down below, let me know what your guys' thoughts were about this week's episode. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was just there? What are your thoughts? Just let me know in the comments section down below, because as always, I enjoy hearing from you. Alright everyone, as always, Templar74 signing off. Have a great day everybody. I'll talk to you all next time. Goodbye everybody.